wa ẹ̀yin bàbá wa lọ́kùnrin lóbìnrin lọ́mọdé lágbàlagbà akáàárọ̀ akásàn akálẹ́ níbikíbi tí ẹ bá ti gbé ń gbọ́ wa a tún ti dé gẹ́gẹ́ bí ìṣe wa o ṣe mọ̀ pé a máa ń sọ wípé gbogbo ohun tó bá ti ń ṣẹlẹ̀ ní Nàìjíríà especially nílẹ̀ Yorùbá a ó máa mú wá sí etí ìgbọ́yín. Ǹjẹ́ kí la mú wá sí etí ìgbọ́yín lénìí lórí ọ̀rọ̀ tó ń lọ lórí ọ̀rọ̀ ààrẹ Gani Adams àti bàbá wa Ìgbòho òòṣà. Tẹ́ bá tí ẹ̀yin ìyá mi ẹ̀yin bàbá mi tẹ́ bá ń fọ́lò ọ̀rọ̀ yìí látìgbà tọ́rọ̀ yìí ti ṣẹlẹ̀, nígbà tí voice message yẹn tó jáde tí gbogbo wa gbọ́ ọ̀rọ̀ tí ibà Gani Adams tí wọ́n sọ nínú voice message yẹn tó jẹ́ wípé ọ̀rọ̀ tó jáde ńbẹ̀ ọ̀rọ̀ ìbanilórúkọ jẹ́ ni. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni, ṣùgbọ́n àsẹ̀yìnwá àsẹ̀yìnbọ̀ tá a máa gbọ́ tí ààrẹ Gani Adams tí wọ́n máa sọ̀rọ̀ jáde, wọ́n ní kì í ṣe àwọn làwọn sọ̀rọ̀ yẹn, wípé wọ́n fọ̀jẹ̀ ọ̀rọ̀ yẹn káàkiri ni bá a ṣe gbọ́ lórí ayélujára nìyẹn. Tẹ́ ẹ bá rìmẹ́mbà ẹ̀yin ìyá wa ẹ̀yin bàbá wa, nígbà tọ́rọ̀ yẹn kọ́kọ́ jáde, bàbá wa Ìgbòho òòṣà ó jáde síta tó sọ̀rọ̀ jáde síta wípé ẹ̀sùn tí ọ̀rọ̀ tó ń lọ lórí ayélujára yẹn àwọn ò mọ nǹkan kan ń pa ẹ̀, wípé ààrẹ Gani Adams kí wọ́n jáde páwọn fún wọn ní 48 hours kí wọ́n fi wá jáde láti wá sọ nǹkan tán mọ̀ nípa ọ̀rọ̀ yẹn. Ṣùgbọ́n nígbà tí bàbá Ààrẹ Ọ̀nà Kakanfò tán máa jáde kí náà máa sọ, wọ́n láwọn ò mọ nǹkan kan ń pa ẹ̀. Ọ̀rọ̀ yẹn ń sìn ibi tọ́rọ̀ yẹn wá dé o ni mo mú wá sí etí ìgbọ́ ẹ̀yin ìyàwó ẹ̀yin bàbá wa. Màá play voice message kan tí agbẹnusọ bàbá wa Ìgbòho òòṣà ìyẹn Ọláyọmí Kíòkí tó sọ̀rọ̀ ńbẹ̀. Ẹ̀yin ìyàwó ẹ̀yin bàbá wa ẹ jẹ́ á jọ gbọ́ voice message so that kẹ́ ẹ lè mọ bí tí ọ̀rọ̀ yẹn dé dúró, because oríṣiríṣi la ń gbọ́ lórí ayélujára. Ẹ̀yin ìyàwó ẹ̀yin bàbá wa ẹ bá wa fi ìdílé nǹkan, ẹ jẹ́ á jọ gbọ́ update tó ẹ̀ṣẹ̀ jáde nípa ọ̀rọ̀ tó ń lọ lórí ayélujára. Ó yá ẹ jẹ́ á jọ gbọ́, ẹ ṣé gan.
The 3rd, 4th April 2024, and this is between Chief Sunday Adeyemo Igboho Clement and Iba Abiodun Ige Adams, the Aare Ọ̀nà Kakanfò of Yoruba land defendant, in an high court of Oyo State in Ibadan Judicial Division holding at Ibadan, with a suit number, court number I/406/2024. This is a form, general form of the writ of summons. Let's go further. Number 2, declaration that it is unlawful, inappropriate, and inexcusable for defendant to defame, disparage, and to put disrepute the character and the reputation of the claimant in an audio clip published on all new media platforms, including YouTube, in publication that took place between in the disparage and to put dispute the character and reputation of the claimant in an audio clip published on all new media platforms, including YouTube, in publication that took place between defendant and a third party, Mr. Nuru Banjo, sometime in November 2021 or thereabout. An order of this honorable court directing the defendant to publicly retract the slanderous, libelous, and defamatory content contained in the publication of Nuru Banjo, which was further published on all new media platforms, including YouTube, where the claimant was defamed, marginalized, and disparaged by the defendant in the conversation published in November 2021 by the defendant. An order of this honorable court directing the defendant to engage all new media platforms, including YouTube, to take down the slanderous, libelous, and defamatory content against the claimant as said by the defendant to a third party, Mr. Nuru Banjo, from their various new media platforms. An order of this honorable court directing the defendant to tender unreserved apology to the claimant in 5 national newspapers in Nigeria over defamatory content against the claimant by the defendant, which has been published on all new media platforms, including YouTube. An order of perpetual injunction restraining the defendant, his agent, privies or assigns from further scandalizing, assaulting, embarrassing, degrading, or defaming the person of the claimant. An order of this honorable court for the payment of extraordinary and aggravated damages in the sum of 500 million naira in favor of the claimant for defamation of the person of the claimant by the defendant. Cost of litigation put at the sum of 10 million naira. This writ was issued by J.A. Sanusi ESQ, whose address for service is Junaid A. Sanusi and Co., first floor, Premium House, Annex Magazine Road, Jericho, Ibadan. Agent for Junaid A. Sanusi and Co. of above address, legal practitioner for the said claimant who reside at the Morrissey Street, Soka, off Lagos Ibadan Expressway, Ibadan, Oyo State. Endorsement to be made on copy of writ or forthwith after service. Let's go further. This came from the High Court of Justice, Oyo State of Nigeria in Ibadan Judicial Division, holding today the 3rd of April 2024, between Chief Sunday Adeyemo Igboho Oosha, claimant, and Iba Abiodun Ige Gani Adams, the Aare of Yoruba land, defendant. Statement of claim. The claimant is a Nigerian citizen and a businessman who is into real estate and auto businesses in Nigeria and diaspora. The claimant is residing in Nigeria and is the managing director of Aare International Concept Limited, a company incorporated in Nigeria. To particulars are hereby pleaded to be relayed on at trial. The defendant is Aare of Yoruba land. He resides in Ikeja, Lagos State of Nigeria. The claimant was born in the 1970s, and he lived his early life in Modakeke, Osun State of Nigeria, until sometime around 2002 or thereabout, when he relocated to Ibadan, Oyo State of Nigeria. The claimant is a law-abiding citizen who was at the time a motorcycle engineer and repairer when he lived at Modakeke, Osun State of Nigeria. The claimant avails that he started doing business of car dealership under the name and style of Aare Concept Enterprise sometime in 2003, until when he, with other directors, incorporated Aare International Concept Limited sometime in 2010, and it is through this company that the claimant has been carrying out legitimate businesses in real estate and auto dealership. The claimant avails that he fully relocated to Ibadan from Modakeke, Osun State of Nigeria in the year 2002, and it was at this time he developed interest in politics, and he later pitched his tent with Senator Rashid Adeolu Ladoja, who gave him the franchise of supplying of campaign vehicles and any other form of vehicles needed for politics for Senator Rashid Adeolu Ladoja. The claimant avails that his business of auto dealership boomed after joining Senator Rashid Adeolu Ladoja, and at the time, the claimant was being mentored to contest election in Oyo State to represent his people. The claimant avails that there was no time he worked as an assassin for President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu, or any other political exposed person both in Nigeria and outside the shores of Nigeria. The claimant avails that the only time he does outside his legitimate business of selling cars and real estate business, is human rights activism against oppressors and criminals, invaders, in self-defense of his ancestral land, and this was never done in secret, but to the glare of all and sundry. The claimant avails that he did not cause the death of anyone, he did not kill anyone, and specifically, he never met late Chief Bola Ige, SAN, and would not have murdered him. The claimant avails also that he did not commit any murder, where people who are close to him were later charged to court. 4. Stood trial. 4. Or standing trial. 4. The claimant avails that he did not defraud anyone in diaspora in the disguise of asking for freedom of his race from invaders. The claimant also availed that he did not receive the sum of 45 million naira from anyone or one Tayo Ayinde, the chief of staff to Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, for the purpose of coordinating any attack or assassination of anyone purportedly on instruction of His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFRL, or any other person. The claimant states further that he has been doing legitimate business both in Nigeria and abroad since sometime around 2002, when he started auto dealership business, and to this end has visited many countries all over the world. Copies of visa, stamp, passport are hereby pleaded to be relayed on the trial. The claimant states that sometime in February 2024, when he visited Nigeria for the burial of his late mother, he slumbered on an audio clip from the defendant, and the same audio clip was downloaded on YouTube while the claimant was in Ibadan, Oyo State of Nigeria, in the presence of Oladipupo Mutiu Olawale and Bamidele Sunday. The said audio clip is hereby pleaded to be relayed on the trial. The claimant avails that the said audio clip downloaded in Ibadan by the claimant in the presence of Oladipupo Mutiu Olawale and Bamidele Sunday was a conversation between the defendant and one other person, Mr. Nuru Banjo, wherein the claimant was defamed and defamatory remarks published to the third party. Mr. Nuru Banjo took in the conversation which was on platforms, including YouTube. The content of the audio clip, considered to be highly libellous, was originally in Yoruba language, which we translated to English language in the manner below, and the relevant party goes thus. I am not against Igboho until he came close to Tinubu. You know, I get my information from different angles as the Aare Onakakanfo of Yoruba land. It was with the Lagos State Governor Chief of Staff, Tayo Ayinde, yesterday from information at my disposal. He left Tayo Ayinde around 2:45 a.m. You know, Tinubu uses him, Tayo Ayinde, to coordinate criminal activities. He was compensated with the position of Chief of Staff. He was the former SSS product. He was given money to recruit some criminals, politicians, use him, Sunday Igboho, to attack people. Tinubu will not show himself. He will call to the line of Chief of Staff. Tinubu gave them 50 million, but Tayo Ayinde took 5 million out of the money. He gave Sunday 45 million naira. Do not believe him. He said Tinubu should come and be the president. I do not know why people in the diaspora believe him, Sunday Igboho. Do not believe him at all. He collects money everywhere as a politician. He's cunning and a fraud. He only use social media to bring support to himself. Sunday asked the media to lie against me. He supports me openly and goes against behind me, my back. Do not support him. Do not support him. He only used social media to bring support to himself. Sunday asked the media to lie against me. He supports me openly and goes against behind me, my back. Do not support him. He is unreliable. Tinubu already promised to give him a house in Lekki and a 200 million naira. He is only an entertainer. Tinubu was using Sunday to get from Buhari. Tinubu is the one using Sunday. He is the most dangerous person in Oyo State. I am not talking of Lagos. If he sees money, there is no one he cannot kill. From confirmed report, even though I am not sure he was one of those who assassinated Bola Ige together with Frayo, he left Lagos 2:45 a.m. after he collected 45 million naira. Tinubu asked 10 million boys to join forces with Sunday to eliminate me. Sunday has countless murder cases where he was able to exonerate himself. Some of his boys are presently in prison, standing trial for different murder cases. Some of his boys were already sentenced to life imprisonment. He used political power to exonerate himself. The claimant avails that the above audio clip was indeed published to the person the defendant was having a conversation with. The said publication to a third party, Mr. Nuru Banjo, was further published to all new media platforms, including YouTube. It is further availed by the claimant that when he saw the damage caused by the publication of the defamatory remark the defendant made to the third party, which was put online, the claimant calls the solicitor J.A. Sanusi of counsel to write the defendant to retract the statement, apologize for the wrong done, compensate the claimant in the letter from the claimant solicitor dated 18th of March 2024 and deliver via DHL. The letter of the 18th of March 2024 together with DHL whale bill are pleaded to be relayed on the trial. The claimant avails that instead of the defendant to be remorseful for his act of defamation against the claimant, the aid of the defendant, one Chief Daudu Asikulaye, the Bare Jiroro of Aare Onokakanfo of Yoruba land, admitted that the defendant has not hidden what he called the truth, and all that was said in that conversation audio clip was actually justified, and as such, there will not be basis to deny same. The response of the aide to the defendant in another YouTube clip is pleaded to be relayed on the trial. The claimant avails that the libellous publication of the defendant and later confirmation by the aide of the defendant has negatively affected the reputation of the claimant to the extent that all business associated of the claimant now find it difficult to do business with the claimant. The claimant avails also that the audio clip credited to the defendant has negatively affected third parties' assessment of the claimant's reason, being that the claimant, who was considered a passionate activist, is now being seen as a mere fraud and a murderer. The claimant avails that 3 of his business associates cut ties with him as a result of the audio clip credited to the defendant, as a result hold him in the low esteem to the extent of not trusting him with business or any movement capable of advancing the cause of Yoruba race or Southwest Nigeria. The claimant avails that Oladipupo Mutiu Olawale informed him that one of the claimant business associates named JP Motors specifically told him through WhatsApp chat that he will no longer do business with the claimant because of the slanderous, libellous publication by the defendant to Nuru Banjo, which was published on all new media platforms. The charge between Oladipupo Mutiu Olawale is hereby pleaded to be relayed on a trial, and a certificate of compliance with Section 84 of Evidence Act is equally pleaded to be relayed at the trial. The claimant avails that his publication is badly damaged even amongst the Yorubas of Nigeria, who once held him in his high esteem until the defendant confidently said the claimant killed anyone for money. He was rumored to be involved in the murder of late Chief Bola Ige, who many saw as the father of Yorubas. Lastly, the claimant avails that the libellous content of the defendant to a third party about the claimant were defamatory. The defamatory content refers to the claimant, and same content was published to a third party, and it later finds its way to the internet, including YouTube online platform. The publication of this defamatory content did not only affect the claimant psychologically, but has also negatively affected the children of the claimant who live abroad and whose father is now being seen as a murderer, fraud, or low life by people who had believed the content of the clip published by the defendant to a third party, which later find its way to the internet. The claimant also avails that on 2 occasions, his first child called Oladipupo Mutiu Olawale to ask if what the defendant said about his father was true, to which they said Oladipupo Mutiu Olawale said no, and equally informed him that his father had asked him to inform his solicitor to write the defendant the letter of 18th of March 2024, which was poorly responded to by the defendant through his solicitors, where claimant claim was admitted, except the claim that the audio was concocted, disjointed, part of a private conversation, despite proper admission of the defendant's aide who had earlier come out to confirm the defamatory content being complained about by the claimant. The defendant solicitor responded date the 21st of March 2024, but received by the claimant solicitor on the 3rd of April 2024 is hereby pleaded to be relayed on the trial. The claimant avers further that the audio clip being relayed on by the claimant in proof of his claim of slander, libel, and defamation is neither a concocted clip nor disjointed part of any private conversation between the defendant and the third party, Mr. Nuru Banjo, and as such, the defendant is hereby given notice to produce the audio clip of the conversation between him and Mr. Nuru Banjo that was neither concocted nor disjointed if such clip exists. The claimant avers that by reason of the premises that the claimant has been injured in his credit and reputation and has been brought into public scandal, odium, and contempt, the claimant avers that all the reliefs being sought by him as a consequence of the action of the defendant is justified and will be capable of improving the reputation of the claimant that has been badly damaged as a result of the publicity by the defendant. Whereof the claimant seeks the relief as follows: declaration that the content of an audio clip between the defendant and a third party named Nuru Banjo that took place sometime in November 2021 and further published on all new media platforms, including YouTube, is slanderous, libelous, and defamatory. Declaration that is unlawful, inappropriate, inexcusable for the defendant to defame, disparage, and put to disrepute the character and the reputation of the claimant in an audio clip between the defendant and Nuru Banjo, which was further published on all new media platforms, including YouTube, in publication that originally took place between the defendant and the third party, Mr. Nuru Banjo, sometime November 2021 or thereabout. An order of this honorable court directing the defendant to publicly retract the slanderous, libelous, and defamatory content contained in the publication to Nuru Banjo, which was further published on all new media platforms, including YouTube, where the claimant was defamed, marginalized, disparaged by the defendant in the conversation published in November 2021 by the defendant. An order of this honorable court directing the defendant to engage all new media platforms, including YouTube, to take down the slanderous, libelous, defamatory content against the claimant, as said by the defendant to a third party, Mr. Nuru Banjo, from their various new media platforms. An order of this honorable court directing the defendant to tender unreserved apology to the claimant in 5 national newspapers in Nigeria over defamatory content against the claimant by the defendant, which has been published on all new media platforms, including YouTube. An order of perpetual injunction restraining the defendant, his agent, previous or assigns from further scandalizing, assaulting, embarrassing, degrading, defaming the person of the claimant. An order of this honorable court for the payment of exemplarily aggravated damages to the sum of 500 million naira in favor of the claimant for the defamation of person of the claimant by the defendant. Cost of litigation is put at 10 million naira. Today's date, 3rd April 2024. J.A. Sanusi, ESQ, Junaid A. Sanusi and Co., the claimant solicitor. First floor, Premium House, Annex Magazine Road, Jericho, Ibadan, 08055 364 538. Stamp, Oyo State High Court of Justice, Ring Road, Ibadan. For the service on the defendant, Odua House, 14, Ezekiel Street off Toyin Street, Ikeja, Lagos State of Nigeria. This is between Chief Sunday Igboho, claimant, and Gani Abiodun Ige, Gani Adams, the Aare Kakanfo of Yoruba Land defendant. Witness written statement on oath of Oladipupo Mutiu Olawale. I, Oladipupo Mutiu Olawale, adult, male, Muslim, businessman and Nigeria of Mosorire Moshorire Street, Soka, off Lagos Ibadan Expressway, or your state of Nigeria, do hereby make an oath and state as follows: that I am the director at the Clement Company, OOSHANLA International Concept Limited, and also a personal assistant to the claimant. That the claimant is presently out of Nigeria and may not be available fully in course of his trial. That I have first-hand information and knowledge regarding the subject of this litigation. I have the consent of the claimant to give evidence regarding the subject of litigation. That the claimant is a Nigerian citizen and a businessman who is into real estate and auto business in Nigeria and in diaspora. That the claimant is a resident in Nigeria and is the managing director of the OOSHANLA International Concept Limited, a company incorporated in Nigeria to carry on lawful businesses. The company's incorporation particulars shall be tendered at trial. That the defendant is the Aare of Yoruba land and he resides in Ikeja, Lagos State of Nigeria. That the claimant was born in 1970. He lived his early life in Modakeke, Osun State of Nigeria until sometime around 2002 or thereabout, when he relocated to Ibadan, your state of Nigeria. And during this period, I was also in Modakeke with the claimant. That the claimant is a law-abiding citizen who was at the time a motorcycle engineer and repairer when he lived at Modakeke, Osun State of Nigeria. And I know this period because I stayed with him. That
ẹ̀yin ìyá wa, ẹ̀yin bàbá wa, a kàn ní ká jáde ká wá sọ bí ọ̀rọ̀ yẹn bó ṣe ń lọ. Ṣé mọ̀ wípé nígbà tọ́rọ̀ yẹn jáde, a ṣàlàyé wípé bọ́rọ̀ yẹn bá ṣe ń lọ, a máa mú wá sí etí ìgbọ́ ẹ̀yin ìyá wa. Ibi tọ́rọ̀ yẹn dé dúró leléyìí. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni, ohun tó bá tún jáde lẹ́yìn ẹ̀, a ó mú padà wá sí etí ìgbọ́ ẹ̀yin ìyá wa. Ẹ̀yin ìyá wa, ẹ̀yin bàbá wa, ẹ má gbàgbé láti subscribe sórí YouTube wa. Ẹ ṣé gan bí ẹ ṣe ń ṣe léyìí.